Well, we got to negative 14 last night. Shut everything down so it doesn't run the batteries. Let's see, negative 4. A little bitty poof. Oh, one cylinder's putting. Interesting. Here everything's just cold. Wow. There you go. She's a chilly one. Last night, negative 14 real degrees, not just real feel. So, frick, that's cold. Yowza. I hate when it does that. So, alrighty. Well, here's an update on my Focal tweeter speakers and stuff. So far working good. Everything's all nicely wrapped up and done up. Hey, there's not wires hanging down anymore. There's hardly any crap on the floor. So, heck yeah. But I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There we go. Mid-range, woofer. And that works pretty dang good there. So, I'm pretty happy. These pillars aren't going to stay like this with a big gaping hole. I had to drill these holes even bigger for the Polk tweeters. I had Pioneer tweeters in here before that, and every time it just gets bigger and bigger. And these ones are a lot smaller than the Pioneer tweeters, so they needed. And I was like, you know what? We're just gonna angle them towards us and see what that does for once. And so you can just hear the trucks running. It's rough. See the camera shaking. Trucks are running a little rough. And then it just smooths right out. Alrighty, so anyway. So these Focal tweeters, I'm gonna experiment with their positioning because I'm not sure I'm terribly... Well, I put this one way back further than that one, which is like right at the end of the pillar there, or edge. And so I was thinking of putting them down lower and pointing upward, kind of, and seeing what that does, if it just kind of filled the sound upward, or, you know, I just want to play around. And well, I got, you know, I guess these pillar covers will be riddled with holes by the time I get done with them, but yeah, I figured a nice little it sounds good so far. It you know, you play some some classical music, and it sounds like you're right there in front of them, or front row seats. It is really nice. And amplifier, I had to turn the audio. I've got the amp all the way up, so I had to have, you know, the rear come up a little bit, or quite a bit, almost halfway, to be able to even hear them. So that's fine. That's no big deal. I got it tuned so I can just hear the tweeter right there, you know, and when I got my head back. So that's the way I like it. I like it more if I can hear more vocal, as if maybe a mid-range or a woofer with a vocal coil. If I could hear more of that coming from the rear. So it's more like a 50-50. Right now it's probably an 80-20, and it's okay. It's okay. I left the subwoofer plugged into the driver's side speaker wire coming out of the head unit, and that has worked. When I had the Pioneer speakers in here, they are a lot quieter, and that was I had to have, you know, I had them down to the rear 10, I had to have them up to the front quite a bit, because the rear overpowered the front. Those Pioneers were so quiet. Now I'm sure if you ran an amp to them, it's a different story, but off the head unit, not so much. But with that having turned up so much, the subwoofer actually worked. I was actually using the subwoofer to its fullest potential. But with having to turn the rear down or the front down, the subwoofer does not get used like at all. So there's not a whole lot of bass up front. It punches and it sounds great for the woofer that it is, but the subwoofer obviously fills a room more so. And this, I have to get, this basically needs an amp of its own to run. And I don't know what that subwoofer is rated for, but I hooked it up in my LB7 because I finally got, 0102 Escalade EXT console, and it has the rear vents and it has the subwoofer. I was completely blown away when he pulled it out and it had the sub. I was like, frickin' rights it does. So I hooked that up to the amplifier for my two 10-inch subwoofers, and it sucks every little bit of power away from the two 10-inch subs. And because my batteries are getting a little bit lower, at the truck, now I just had the system going while I was putting the stuff in, and that one Bose subwoofer would dim my lights every time it hit. And you unplug it, the 10-inch subs roar back to life, and they don't dim the lights. That one 10-inch, or one, 5-6-inch sub draws so much power. It is insane. So, I can see why having this plugged into my left speaker, when it was all running off of my head unit, that it would draw the left side down so much. I would have to go, I would always have to go up and to the left before. And now I've got it 50-50 and to the rear, and it's just fine. So that is ridiculous how much power that sucker draws. But yeah, that needs an amp of its own, and unfortunately there's no more room in the console for more amps. And well, I guess what I could do is, because I've got a 8-inch subwoofer, an Alpine sub I bought Dad for a birthday present like 10 years ago, and he never used it. That was supposed to originally go in this truck when we had it. So, and that I've got like a 300 watt amp or something like that, more or less. I don't know what it is. Ooh, don't need, truck's super warm. But if I just run, because that might power two subwoofers. I don't know. If it does, then I'll run this subwoofer to that amp as well, and then it should be pretty well equal. And that'll really pack a punch in here then. Just two subwoofers, two small ones, because this alone does quite a bit for me. So I'm pretty happy with that. And if anything happened in the future where it blew out or something, I'd go get another 5 or 6 inch one, pop in there. No big deal. But yeah, that'd be pretty exciting if I can get that going. But man, running that amp wire is just a turd, because you got this big massive body grommet on the firewall there, and that getting the amp wire through there, because I normally run all my wires through the throttle wire grommet, but is full. You're not getting an amp wire through there, period, pretty much. So yeah, fun. But I just figured I'd give you guys a quick little update on the sound system. I would pull it apart and show you if everything was still lucid, but I've screwed it all back together. But it's all tucked away nice and neat. And I did find out that the crossovers for the both sets of speakers have adjustments for the woofer and for the tweeter. And so I have adjusted them according to the way I like it. And boy, oh boy, do I like it. So, alrighty. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. God bless.